Selene Wise supporting for Kids First. And today, I'm talking with Nicola Daley, the director of photography for the short film Swan Lake Bath Ballet. This short film is truly beautiful, unique, and a work of art. I should explain that Swan Lake Bath Ballet is a modern version of Swan Lake, filmed entirely remotely in filmed bathtubs of 27 elite ballerinas from around the globe. Welcome, Miss Daley, and thank you for taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk with me.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. This short film is so interesting, especially since it was filmed remotely using Zoom. Was that part of its appeal for you?
Yes, we filmed it. Well, we were on Zoom, as in me, who was the director of photography, and the director and choreographer, who's Corey Baker. We were in London. And I've still never met him. So we met over Zoom, and he explained the project to me and said we would have lots of dancers from all over the world, but they would all dance in their homes, in their own bathtubs. And we were in lockdown in the UK at that point, and so I was not doing much at my house. So I said I'd love to be involved, and it sounded like a really creative and interesting project to do all remotely.
Definitely, it sounds really interesting. Can you describe the process of filming and editing this various production, challenges you experienced in making this film?
It was quite challenging because, as you said, Selene, it's all done remotely. So the dancers actually film themselves on their iPhones or Android phones. And so we would sit on Zoom, and I would help them frame each shot, because the director and I at the beginning said we didn't really want it to look like a homemade sort of video. We wanted it to be cinematic as possible, really, under the circumstances of what we could achieve, you know. And so the dancers filmed themselves, but we had to work out, and it took quite a long time to work out how to get their iPhone feed, if you like, to Zoom so we could see it. So we did that, so we could see everything that they set up. And so I spent a lot of time saying, frame it this way a bit, up a bit, left a bit, you know. So often the dancers were on their own, or sometimes their family helped them. So their moms, their partners, their husbands, their wives. And it's one thing that I really love about this film, actually. It was a real group effort. So everybody pitched in.
The lighting was so beautiful. It was definitely so creative.
Thank you. That was really hard, actually. That was a good challenge, because as a director of photography, normally you're in charge of the camera and the lighting. And so you work with a team and you tell them where to set all the lights and everything. But with this, you know, we hadn't even stepped foot in the bathrooms of all these dancers. So some of them had real lights, you know, ring lights or lights that you would use for Instagram, and some just had practical lamps that they had in their living room or whatever. So we just used what we could find in their house. So bathrooms are notoriously hard to film in normal life. When I'm there in the bathroom, they're small spaces, they don't have good lighting. So trying to make it look well lit was a real challenge. But my favorite is the candle lit scene at the beginning. She's
Mine
from
too.
American Ballet. Yeah, she's beautiful. She's such a beautiful dancer. And when Corey, the director, saw her in a full tutu and everything, he just said, she's the one that opens the film. So yeah, she was gorgeous and such a beautiful dancer too.
It was definitely very well done.
Cool, thank you.
You're welcome. This film was commissioned by the BBC Arts, Culture and Quarantine. In what ways, Fancy, were they involved in the direction of this project, if any?
Because I wasn't the director or the producer, but I think that they just, I think Corey, as the director and choreographer, I think he pitched his idea to them, and then they commissioned so many short films that, as you say, exist in this set of short films called Culture in Quarantine. But I think they left him alone really to do as creative stuff as he wanted to do. He's made some really brilliant other dance short films that people should check out. I think he's made one which is the first dance film made in Antarctica where she's dancing on the ice. So he likes a challenge as a director and a filmmaker. So he's the perfect person to sort of do something in quarantine remotely.
Well, I'll definitely be checking that one out. It sounds very interesting.
Yeah, it's a good one.
So, as you said, Corey Baker is a talented choreographer of this ballet. How did you and Corey collaborate to make sure that his vision was carried out and each dancer segment was filmed in order to convey his choreography?
He had a very clear idea of his choreography, and he'd worked it out in his bathroom himself, and also with a couple of friends of his who also live in London, but they'd done it because we were in lockdown, they'd done it over Zoom. So he said it was very strange because they were sitting, you know, in the bathroom and with his friend in the bath working out the choreography, you know. So it's a very intimate thing to do, sit and look at someone else's bathroom. But he worked out all the sections that he wanted. And then really when we got all the dancers' information in, and they would give us ideas on whether they had a swimming pool or what kind of bathroom they had or what kind of lights they had. And so as they all came in on email, we would look at the photographs and go, oh, that person would be great for this part, or that person would be great for this part, or this person has a swimming pool, so we can do a whole underwater section. So it was really, he had a good idea of what he wanted, and then it was sort of, we collaborated, and which is what a director of photography normally does with the director. You sort of sit down and really talk about the shots and the design and the lighting of the film so that you can sort of create a whole visual piece.
The pool is actually another one of my favorite scenes. Thanks so much for sharing that.
That's all right. That was she's a very beautiful dancer, Skylar, and she's from New York.
My sister was born there.
Mm-hmm.
Did you develop or learn any new technical skills to create this film?
I had never shot anything on phones before. I know that there's been some feature films that have been shot on like an iPhone. So I did a lot of research on different phones and what kind of video you can use. And we had a brilliant app called Filmic Pro app. And so I learned all about that and how you can, because we had so many different dancers and they were in all sorts of places, from America to South Africa to New Zealand. So we made sure that the app sort of made everybody's phone the same. So that was really good. I learned that. And then I learned how we could get a feed off their camera into Zoom so we could watch what they were doing. So there were lots of new technical skills, but then there was also, how do we light something with, you know, one lamp and you know, how do we fan some feathers with a piece of cardboard? It was very DIY, this project, you know. The feathers came from, we sent some of them pillows. So they would rip open the pillows and fill their bathtubs with feathers, which took them a long time to clean up, but we weren't there for that bit, yeah.
Wow, that's definitely so amazing. How did you see culture being changed during quarantine?
I think there was lots of really interesting projects, I think, that you could see on your phone, or people were sharing sort of viral videos. There were a few dance ones. I don't know if you saw them. There was a Paris Ballet one where they were in their houses dancing. That was beautiful. So I think lots of people made some really interesting creative stories. And I think it's sort of made you think outside the box.
Lastly, what do you hope audiences will take away from watching this film?
I hope I think people love it. It's had so many, 4.5 million views or something. So I think people just are enchanted by it and think it's beautiful. And I think I just love that. And the music is obviously iconic. So and there's so many beautiful dancers. So I think it's very memorable, which I love.
Well, I definitely agree with all of that. Thanks so much for talking with me today, Miss Daley. It's been a pleasure. As a dancer myself, I am enchanted by this production.
Thank you.
It's now streaming on BBC iPlayer and BBC social media. I watched on Facebook. Please like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss my next interview or review, and those of our other talented reporters. That's a wrap. I'm Selene Weiss reporting for Kids First, and today we've been talking with Nicola Daley about the new film, Swan Lake Ballet. Thanks for watching, and be sure to subscribe to our channel so you don't miss my next interview or review, and those of our other reporters. Bye now!
Bye, thank you.